The History of Acupuncture. Hello, I am Anna, the virtual assistant of Happy Live, and I will guide you through the video now. Please also pay attention to the description. The History of Acupuncture. Acupuncture comes from two Latin words, namely acus, which means needle in English, and pungere, which means prick. Its history originated in China more than 2,000 years ago and has evolved into various forms. Some of the techniques of acupuncture do not even use needles anymore. Vibrating objects, ultrasound, and even the fingers of the practitioner have taken some of the work to make the person feel better. The history of acupuncture is first discussed in an ancient Chinese medical text called the Huang Di Nei Jing, or the Yellow Emperor's Classic of Internal Medicine. But there have been a few who are skeptic, as archaeologists have found a 5,000-year-old mummy in the Alps with similar acupuncture points in the body. This gives some people the idea that it was used even before the Chinese did, but there is no written text to prove that. No one is certain, and credit to this ancient practice goes back to the Chinese. In the 6th century, this knowledge moved to Japan. In the 17th century, a man by the name of Yuichi Sugiyama wanted to make this procedure painless for the patient, so he developed the insertion tube, a small cylindrical tube through which the needle is inserted. Believe it or not, this technique is still being used today. But acupuncture only reached the US in the early 80s with the establishment of a regulatory board called the National Commission for Acupuncture and Oriental Medicine. As a result, various schools have been built, and those who want to become licensed acupuncturists are now able to practice their profession. Despite that, there were a lot of people who are not yet convinced on the positive effects of alternative forms of medication. It was only in 1995 that the U.S. Food and Drug Administration decided to classify the needles used for acupuncture as medical instruments and assured the public that they are both safe and effective. To further promote acupuncture, the NIH, or National Institute of Health, in 1997 has stated that this technique is very useful in treating various health conditions. These include ear, nose, throat, respiratory, gastrointestinal, eye, nervous system, and muscular disorders. In some cases, acupuncture is able to prevent some of them from happening. This was further strengthened by the fact that the side effects of acupuncture are much less than that of conventional drugs that are being sold by pharmaceutical companies. So that people can avail of acupuncture, another recommendation by the NIH is for U.S. companies to provide full coverage for certain conditions. If you do not qualify, perhaps there is partial coverage which you should look up in your policy. But despite that, more research needs to be done to see its effects on other health-related problems. Some examples of these include addictions, autism, chronic low back pain, migraines, and osteoarthritis of the knee. If you look at the history of acupuncture, not much has changed since the needle technique used back then is still being used today. Even if various forms have developed through the years, one thing for sure is that it works. In order for you to see how effective it is, you have to see a specialist who is not only qualified to treat your condition but also one is well trained. Thanks for watching. Please also pay attention to the description.